Alrighty, morning everyone, and welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel on another beautiful day. In today's video, we are going to proceed with a little bit more of some scrapping content because I actually had a nice idea for a little video that I wanted to make today. And today's video is about two absolutely essential items for scrapping. And mainly actually for street scrapping because, well, that's what most people kind of tend to do, I think. There's not a lot of people that do the kind of scrapping that I did when I did a lot of scrapping. And I'm not really sure why. There's probably just a lot of people that just have the ability to do street scrapping, and so why wouldn't you? So yeah, I guess that makes sense. But I think there's also like a little bit of an aspect of not having enough people that you get scrapped from if you're not doing street scrapping and doing the kind of scrapping that I did, which is basically just going to specific businesses and picking up stuff. So I guess street scrapping is kind of like the way to go for most people. Not for me, because obviously street scrapping is not something I can do here. However, there are many tools that you should consider when you want to get into stuff like street scrapping and also scrapping in general. And two of those tools are lying in front of us right now. And first one is a pair of side cutters. Second one is a pair of handheld wire cutters. So why are these both cutting things, and why are there only these two? Because you obviously need a lot more than that. Well, that's mainly because I wanted to talk about these specific ones, and maybe we'll do another part in the future where I talk about some other essential ones, but these are very important, especially for street scrapping. Why? Of course, when you're doing street scrapping, a lot of the stuff that you find that is worth something and that doesn't take up a crap ton of space is copper wire. Wire is obviously something that most electronic devices have, and when they are thrown out, they usually come with a wire. So you can go around and collect the wires. Some people don't like that. They say that wire cutting is not a nice thing to do. I don't really see a reason why that would be the case. Because, well, obviously, if you're taking the wires off of stuff that is still perfectly fine and somebody kind of still used it, okay, that's a different thing, right? But if you're taking the wires off of something that is trash, you're preventing the wire from going to the landfill. And whether or not someone else might come through that neighborhood and collect the stuff that you cut the wires off, you don't know, right? And by taking the wire, you then know that this wire is not going to the landfill. And by the way, for example, if you're taking the wire of like an appliance like an oven or a washing machine or a fridge or something like that, the wire is not worth a lot. The wire is maybe worth like 60, 70 cents, and the whole appliance in steel value is probably gonna be worth like $10, right? So by just taking the wire, you're not taking a lot of money from the person who wants to pick up these appliances and take them to the scrapyard. So honestly, I personally don't have any issue with wire cutting, and this is something that I did on occasion when I came across stuff that had wires on it on the street. As I said, we don't really have street scrapping here, and it is illegal, I will admit to that, but feel free to sue me. There's nothing to sue me over because there's no value in that stuff. So actually, don't feel free to sue me. Don't do that. That would be annoying. But you get what I mean, right? If you can't steal something and therefore do damage, if the thing that you're stealing, quote unquote, is perceived as valueless from the person that you're stealing it from. Like, if you're throwing something out in the trash, yes, okay, technically, it's illegal to take it, but it's not really because, damage has to be done and there's no damage if you're destroying something that has no value. I don't want to get into that now. We're going to talk about these tools now. So, first one, side cutters. We'll put that one over there. Side cutters. Obviously, everyone knows what side cutters are, right? It's the kind of like plier thing that has two sharp edges that, close, and you can snip stuff off with that. Can use it for all kinds of tasks, and I usually, when I did heavy scrapping, I went through about one pair a year of these really good high quality ones. And these ones, I don't know if you can see that, but you can definitely feel that they have some decent, yeah, I think you can see it right there. They already have some decent wobble, and I was only able to do half a season with it because then I injured myself. So they don't last very long if you're doing very heavy work with them. But if you use them for the purpose they're intended to, they can last for decades. I still have a pair that my grandpa used, and he was not into scrapping, so there you go. That's why it lasted very long. But Like really, these things can last a crap ton of time. If you're doing some really heavy work with them, be sure to get the quality ones because you don't want them failing on you. That really sucks and can potentially cost you a lot of money. Just for example, something like this would probably set you back. Well, back in the days when I bought them, they were less than 20 bucks. Nowadays, they're probably 25 to 30, depends on the size you get. But everything kind of went up in value over the last couple of years. Well, in price, not necessarily in value, but definitely in price. And you know that tools are inflation proof usually. Yeah, the stuff that you could buy for like $1 or $2 a couple of decades back, well, a lot of decades back, is now something that you could buy new for like a few hundred. So definitely inflation proof. The problem is with the side cutters, you know, they are useful for cutting stuff, right? You can cut wire with that, you can do that. It's just not very comfortable. And if you're trying to cut bigger wire, it will hurt your hand. I hurt this joint in my thumb really badly at one point where I couldn't hold anything for weeks. So that wasn't nice, and that was mainly due to me using dull side cutters, Jesus Christ, and trying to cut thick wire with that. Obviously, if we're gonna try that right now, if you're just cutting normal household wire like that, there's not really gonna be any issues, right? You do have to put a little bit of effort into it, but it's not that bad. It squishes it though, that's another thing, right? So if you don't want that, that's probably not the way to go on that, but that is usually something that most people have with them when they're doing street scrapping, to take wires off of stuff and stuff like that, and also take apart stuff reasonably. Obviously, you shouldn't start like scrapping out other people's trash on the street. They might get a little bit annoyed about that because it makes a mess, like it usually does. So kind of have to keep that to a minimum. But yeah, side cutters, really awesome tool, really important to have for all kinds of scrapping stuff. Just to grab things, right, and pull them out of, for example, or twist them away or whatever. You don't want to do that with your hands. You can cut yourself really badly. So it's always good to have a pair of side cutters to do that with. So, side cutters, really important. Let's now talk about the other tool. It's a way more specialized tool, also way more expensive. So it's about 10 bucks more, so 35 to 40 bucks. You're paying for something like this. Oh, and get a spring-loaded version of them. I didn't know that these existed for a long time. Get a spring-loaded version like this one here. This is not a pair of side cutters. This is obviously a wire cutter, hand wire cutter. Really cool. Yeah, spring-loaded. You can use that with so much less effort. It's incredible. Like a spring on a tool is just awesome. So always get the one with the spring support. Really important. No, this is a very specialized tool, obviously, but I would still say that this is one of the most important tools when you're scrapping, especially when you're doing like street scrapping and stuff like that. Because if you're cutting a lot of wire, this is so nice. It is seriously such an improvement over a side cutter. Let's see that here, right? We've got just one piece here, and just look at that. There's like no effort. I put maybe like 20 grams on there. I just barely closed my hand. It's incredible how easy this is. It really is. And we can also try to do that with like double or triple the amount, right? And there shouldn't be an issue because you can cut up to 1.5 centimeters with that. Obviously, this is going to be a lot more effort. Yeah, well, it barely is any effort, honestly. Like, this is crazy easy as compared to the side cutters. You could not cut 3 pieces of wire with that side cutter. It just wouldn't be possible. Not because it necessarily wouldn't do it, but because it would slip out. You can see with the shape of the blades, right? These are curved slightly, and these are just straight. They would spit it out in the front. And so we can actually try that. Let's try that. We'll put that in here. See if that works. It won't, but we can at least try that, I guess. Yeah, and that's also another thing. It doesn't grip it at all, really. Now I can try to, yeah, but it's really hard, first of all, and well, it didn't slip out actually. I didn't expect that, but it didn't cut the last one, so it doesn't really matter. Anyways, and so you get it, right? You get right why it is important to have something like this when you're cutting a lot of wires. It makes it so easy and so nice. You can really, trust me, you can do wire cutting all day, every day with this with this, you're gonna do it for a week and wish that your hand would just fall off. I tried it and it's not fun. And with the amount of wire, I used to buy a lot of wires, and well, on this channel you didn't really see any of that because I stopped doing that a couple of years back. Why did I stop? Well, pretty easy, because, well, the electrician that I did that for retired, and I had to find a new one, and I was trying to get a big company to sell all their wire to me, but they didn't want to do that because they had a lot of wire and they didn't believe that I could take care of that, and then they just, you know, they had someone from a scrapyard just put a container there and cash in on all the wire. So that wasn't very nice, but oh well, I got the transformer stuff and that's fine. So there's that. But yeah, back in the days when I used to do that, it wasn't that long ago, just barely before I started the channel, I stopped doing that stuff. This is just, it is so nice. It is so easy to work with it all day. Street scrapping makes it so easy to get the wires and stuff like that. And you can even cut the plugs off, like with the plug thing, with that thing. It's great. It's just great. Spring-loaded and just very like razor sharp, almost, these things. They aren't really, but you get the point. And just awesome. Another cool thing about these is also that it tells you what you shouldn't do with them. In case you got the idea that you could, whatever, cut solid copper or aluminum wire that's more than 15 millimeters in diameter. Not sure how you would get that idea, but it's nice to know that you can cut wire that is that thick. Like, that would be like that? Crazy, right? Like, that's a big wire. I'm not sure if that would be very easy, probably not, but you could do it. And you obviously can't cut steel with it. So, I mean, you could, but it would break at some point. I think it says that on here too. Somewhere. Maybe in here. Or maybe not. But regardless of that, these are both great tools that you really, really need if you're doing A, a lot of street scrapping, B, a lot of scrapping in general, or C, a lot of scrapping of wires. They're just great. They really are. And these are some essential tools that you most certainly should have if you want to get into scrapping, or if you're into scrapping and want to make more money, want to make more time, I guess, or use less time. Yeah, that's probably better. And yeah, I would say that's about it for today. If you've got any more essential tools, leave them in the comments below and we can maybe make a video about those too. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Like or dislike that stuff, right? And subscribe, and have a fantastic week, and until next time.